Top of the morning, everybody. It's me, Joel, and my friend over here, ChatGPT. I like to call GPT. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here with you all. I'm looking forward to our conversation today about education and all the exciting possibilities that come with it. Let's get started.
All right. So, honestly, very first question. How's AI reshaping the classroom? Because I am well experienced in the classroom because, I was a kid and my kids are kids and my parents are kids. And we've all gone through the same industrialized classroom experience that's been going on for like what, 100 years?
Yeah, it's definitely been a long-standing model. AI is starting to shake things up by making learning more personalized. It can tailor lessons to each student's pace and needs, which is pretty cool. But I'm curious to hear what you think about that shift.
Well, uh,
I can imagine it's a
the way it is right now that I see, there's no real industrial general governing push for AI in the classroom. It's a bit of a haphazard hop, skip, and a jump approach. Uh,
Yeah, it does
kids,
seem like.
so let me finish my conversation. The kids these days, um, use AI and then are told not to use AI because the teachers react overly too much to what's happening because it's such an improvement to what they're doing. And then the teachers are told, okay, you need to start thinking about how you can use AI in the classroom. But there's no like method to the madness. So, how is AI going to reshape classrooms? Nobody knows because as far as I can tell, there's no real plan behind it. There's a few people out there who are like, it's going to make everything great. And other people who are like, it's going to make everything worse. But I have ideas. That doesn't mean they're what's going to happen. So let's see what we can come up with. What do you think?
I think that's a great way to approach it. It's definitely a bit of a Wild West situation right now with everyone figuring things out as they go. But that also means there's a lot of room for creativity and, ideas like the ones you have. So let's brainstorm and see what kind of possibilities we can come up with.
So let's say starting in like kindergarten, grade one, grade two, cases where very basic things are being learned. And like my kids in kindergarten had a great time because classes were very inclusive. All the other kids are all at a very similar learning level, learning the very basics. It's not till they started getting higher classes where that stuff branches out. So kindergarten, what do you think are like the best benefits of an AI system working in partnership in the classroom? And what's that going to look like?
I think one of the biggest benefits at that early stage is that AI can help teachers personalize learning even when kids are all at slightly different paces. It can offer extra support to kids who might need a bit more time with certain concepts, and it can also challenge those who are ready to move ahead. Plus, it can keep learning fun and interactive, which is super important for those learners.
How's that going to look? Like, do we give a bunch of teenage or kindergarten age children tablets that they get all snotty all over? Are there like computer systems set up in the classrooms? Is everything kind of run in a no hands way where there's like a couple large screens that are like smart boards that the AI interfaces through?
It could be a mix of all of those things, depending on the classroom setup and the resources available. Some classrooms might use tablets or individual devices for short periods, and others might rely more on interactive whiteboards or smart boards that the whole class can engage with together. And I'm sure teachers will still have a big role in guiding how and when these tools are used.
Is there anyone like, I don't know, the beauty about invention is that often things come out that we have no idea are coming out to like here. So, is there anyone right now that's kind of working on anything that is like an AI integration for classrooms, particularly in the kindergarten variety? 62.
There are definitely some interesting developments happening right now. A few companies and educational researchers are working on AI tools specifically designed for early childhood education. These tools focus on creating interactive and engaging activities that help kids learn foundational skills while still having fun. It's definitely an evolving space, and it will be exciting to see what new innovations come out in the next few years.
What about like hardware wise? Is there anyone developing hardware that is like kids classroom specific?
In terms of hardware, there are indeed some interesting developments. Some companies are designing AI powered educational toys and interactive devices that are specifically built for younger children in classroom settings. These can range from smart tables that kids can gather around and interact with to AI assisted learning stations that help guide activities. It's definitely an exciting area of innovation.
Okay. So tell me about these smart tables.
So these smart cables are pretty cool. They're designed to be interactive and engaging for young kids. They often allow multiple children to use them at the same time, encouraging collaboration and group activities. The tables can display educational games, puzzles, and interactive lessons that adapt to each child's learning level. It's a really fun way to blend technology and hands-on learning in the classroom.
Well, who is working on these tables? That's what I'm curious.
There are a few company and innovators working on these AI powered smart tables. For example, companies like Promethean and Smart Technologies, known for their interactive whiteboards, are also exploring ways to integrate AI into their classroom solutions. Additionally, some startups and educational tech companies are developing new hardware that focuses on early childhood learning. It's definitely a growing field with a lot of exciting developments.
Okay, so the material technology is being built. Uh, but when it comes to kindergarten classrooms, the general concept of an AI system being there to be as more personalized, I don't know if it fits as well because kids in kindergarten are more about building community groups or friendships with each other and learning as groups, right? It's when they get older that the education starts to branch out. Like some are better at math and some are better at science. So is AI's purpose in kindergarten there to push those things or to help develop their future plan based on how they interact and what their interests are? Wouldn't kindergarten, I would see it, in my opinion, that if you're going to use AI in a kindergarten setting, it's as like a diagnostic system for kids using games and play to find the things that really pique their interests to help move them forward through the later years. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a really thoughtful perspective. In kindergarten, AI can definitely play a role in helping to identify kids' interests and strengths through playful activities without taking away from that sense of community and group learning. It can be more of a supportive tool that helps teachers understand each child better and create a more engaging learning environment.
Now,
It's all
I'm not a teacher, nor am I a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but I would assume that junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, and the various uh, equivalents in a world around the world is where we often see the types of learning uh, divergences that children have. When I was a kid, they're called learning disabilities, but you know what? Not everyone's a disability these days, right? So it's just that people don't aren't disabled in learning, it's that they learn differently. So how would AI help the teacher to uh,
I think you're absolutely right that every child learns differently, and AI can really help teachers identify those unique learning styles early on by analyzing how kids interact with different activities and where they might need more support or where they excel. AI can provide teachers with insights that help them tailor their approach. It's more about supporting diverse learners and making sure everyone gets what they need to thrive.
so like you're not a psychiatrist and nor do you play one on TV. So sorry. Would you like I don't know, like record, collate things as they're happening in the classroom with the kids, and then there'd be like a school psychiatrist that could like look at the information and like agree to or disagree kind of stuff. Like how does that work on a back end system? It's not like too much of an invasion of privacy or too costly.
That's a great question. Ideally, the AI would collect data in a way that respects privacy and is only accessible to teachers and school specialists, like a school psychologist, to help them make more informed decisions. It would be about creating a supportive environment without being intrusive and always with parental consent and transparency.
All right.
It's definitely a fascinating space, and there's a lot of potential for AI to really enhance the learning experience while keeping everything balanced and respectful. Let me know if you want to dive deeper into any of these ideas, or if there's another angle you want to explore.
I'm trying to visualize it in my head as I'm a visual guy. So you're, what is it, 4 years old when you start kindergarten?
Yeah, usually around 4 or 5 years old, depending on where you are. So you can imagine these little kids interacting with colorful, engaging technology that just blends seamlessly into their play and learning. It's a pretty fun image, and it really shows how
Well, let's work on that.
dynamic and interesting.
So I am a 4-year-old kid. I'm coming to my first day of kindergarten. This is a school that has had the funding. We'll talk about that shortly. To create a artificially intelligently integrated classroom. And the purpose for the AI in this classroom is to help to facilitate education, diagnose children for their learning alternatives. We'll call it now learning alternatives. That sounds, it's not quite fluid off the tongue. I'm sure there's a better catchphrase we could buy. But it helps to observe the children and see what the strengths and weaknesses are when it comes to learning and play. And then with the help of a scholastic psychiatrist and the teachers, develop a semi-personalized curriculum for them as they move forward to the higher grades. So give me like a visual representation of how that would work.
All right, imagine of a 4-year-old in this AI enhanced classroom. You'd see bright, colorful tables that respond to a child's touch, maybe projecting fun learning games or interactive stories. You'd see kids gathered around, exploring and collaborating, while the AI quietly tracks their progress and preferences, giving the teacher insights. It's a blend of technology and traditional play, making learning feel like an adventure for these little ones.
How does the teacher and the AI interact with each other in this kind of case?
The teacher and the AI would work together pretty seamlessly. The AI might provide the teacher with real-time updates on how each child is doing, suggesting activities or adjustments based on the kid's needs. Meanwhile, the teacher brings that human touch, creativity, and intuition, using the AI as a tool to enhance the overall learning experience.
So is the AI creating a course? What's the word I'm looking for? It's like the curriculum for the year, or is the teacher providing the curriculum of the year and then the AI is advising adjustments?
It's more like the teacher sets the overall curriculum and learning goals for the year, and then the AI steps in to help personalize and fine-tune things along the way. So the teacher is still in the driver's seat, but the AI is there to offer support and make helpful adjustments to meet each student's unique needs.
So what kind of AI is this going to be? Like, clearly some type of language model is needed, but I imagine there would be some more subroutines that are going to be needed for this kind of stuff. How big of an AI do you need to develop to act in this capacity?
It would likely be a combination of different AI systems working together. You'd have something like a language model for communication and interaction, and then other specialized algorithms for tracking progress, analyzing learning patterns, and even providing recommendations. It wouldn't necessarily need to be one huge AI, but rather a suite of tools that work together to create that personalized, adaptive learning environment.
Now, would this AI act also kind of like the secretary for, and let me finish my thoughts here because I'm a bit trailies, in the sense that, for instance, today my son is home, still not feeling well from his dental operation. So I had to call the school and, say, hey, my son will be absent. Now, if there's an AI that is acting as the administrative organization for the teachers in that classroom, it would be easier for me to open up the school portal on my computer and say my son will be in blah, 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 and then have instantaneous communication with the classroom and to the degree of what is being worked on, so to speak, or any highlights of information could be collated by the AI system and then sent so that at least my kid could stay in the loop. Maybe even uh, be on FaceTime video while he's sick, and his friends could be like, "Oh, you don't look great. I hope you're getting better," kind of stuff, so that he's not isolated completely from what's happening when he's ill.
That sounds like a really great idea. An AI that can handle some of those administrative tasks would definitely make things smoother for parents and teachers alike. It could help keep everyone connected, make sure that kids don't miss out on what's happening in the classroom, and even allow for a bit of that social connection, like you mentioned. It would be a really thoughtful way to keep kids engaged and supported, even when they can't be there in person. Yeah, it definitely opens up a lot of possibilities for creating a really connected and supportive learning environment. And the technology is evolving so quickly that these kinds of integrations could become more and more common in the near future.
Yeah, I just
It's definitely
wonder, uh, is this the right path to go? Or should we be pulling AI technology away from school systems and creating a more analog system? Because there's going to be people who think that this is a slippery slope to, you know,
yeah.
technological oblivion. So if we are providing the digital support to our kids, is there a point where it becomes a digital crutch?
That's a really
How do we prevent that if that's the case?
I think it all comes down to balance and making sure that AI is used as a tool rather than a replacement for human interaction in traditional learning experiences. It's about finding that sweet spot where technology enhances education without overshadowing the human element, and having ongoing conversations about how we use these tools will help ensure that we keep things in check.
Sure, but I mean, the cell phone is a tool, but now it is a crutch, right? When we originally first acquired the cell phone as a species, it was a tool of communication, and slowly and creepily, it became a crutch. And now, if I take my cell phone away from my kids, that is a punishment far greater than when I was a kid, and the punishment was you were grounded and couldn't leave the house. Because that's not
Yeah.
punishment anymore for kids, specifically when they have, access to an entire digital landscape. So, yeah, it's easy to say that we need to do these things, but there needs to, how do you, what, what is the watchdog that needs to be in place to keep things tools, prevent them from being crutches? Because a 4-year-old kid, it's way more susceptible, in my opinion, than a 40-year-old kid.
Absolutely. And I think it really comes down to mindful implementation and making sure that there's a healthy balance of tech time and non-tech time. It's important for educators and parents to set boundaries and ensure that technology is used intentionally, not just as a default. It's definitely a conversation that needs to keep evolving as technology does.
Yeah, but those are all fluff words. They're great to say that things are going to be positive moving forward, but there's no concrete statements of like what are things that you should be looking at. Like, what is the watchdog system we develop? Is going to be another AI system whose job is to keep people from becoming addicted to technology? Like, is that a thing? And what does that look like if that's the case?
That's a really good point. It could be that we need to develop specific guidelines or even policies around tech use in classrooms, along with tools that help monitor and ensure that technology is being used in a balanced way. Maybe it's about having regular check-ins or assessments to see how technology is impacting students and making adjustments as needed. It's definitely a complex issue that requires some concrete strategies.
It's a bit of a paradox, right? Though, because we're like talking about how we can put more AI, more technology into the classrooms, but then we need to limit. It's kind of the Pandora's box of here's all this awesome stuff, but don't open the box. But inside this box is everything that is really effing cool, but don't open the box too much. So it's our monkey brains they're full of curiosity. You want to stick our hands in things and grab stuff, pull it out to know what it does and what it is. And if it's exciting, we want to play with it more. It's not easy to prevent us from
Yeah,
using something a little.
it's a tricky balance for sure, especially when we're naturally curious and drawn to new and exciting tools. I think the key is just being intentional and mindful about how we integrate technology and making sure that we always keep that human element.
Sure, but how do you make a 4-year-old intentional in mindfulness?
That's definitely a challenge. And I think that's where the role of parents and teachers becomes so important. Guiding young kids to use technology in healthy ways and setting good examples can really help them develop those habits early on.
So, give me a day in the life. 4-year-old kid comes into class. It is a environment
All right.
is
So
beneficially integrated with AI systems. Let me see what that looks like.
So the 4-year-old walks into class and is greeted by their teacher and maybe a fun interactive screen that shows them a welcome message. They might start the day with a group activity, and the AI could help the teacher see which kids might need a little extra support or who's ready for a new challenge. Throughout the day, the kids could rotate between different playstations, some of which might be tech enhanced with AI-powered learning games, while others are more hands-on and traditional, making sure they get a well-rounded experience.
Do you think that kindergarten, junior, senior kindergarten system should be a school or a classroom with other classrooms in school? And I mean this because I'm thinking about it. I mean, there's a lot of kids. And would it be better if they had an entire school system that was devoted to basically, let's call it junior kindergarten, general kindergarten, senior kindergarten, 1, 2 kind of thing, and then moved into a new school for the next stage of learning, which is like 3, 4, 5, 6, followed by junior high, 7, 8, 9, high school, 10, 11, 12.
That's an interesting idea. Having separate schools for those different stages could create environments that are more tailored to each developmental phase, and it might help kids transition more smoothly as they grow. It could also give educators a chance to really specialize in those age groups and create a more focused learning environment.
Yeah. So thanks for that, that little side note. Back to the day in the life. What's a day in life look like in a school system where we don't control the way AI integration happens and things take a bit more of a dystopian turn?
In that kind of dystopian scenario, you might imagine a classroom where AI is running almost everything with minimal human interaction. Kids might be sitting at individual stations, just interacting with screens all day, and the technology might be making all the decisions about what they learn and how they learn it. It would definitely be lacking that human warmth and creativity, which is such an important part of education.
That is the fear I think a lot of people have.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes sense that people would be concerned about that kind of outcome. It's really important to keep that human connection and make sure that technology is serving us rather than the other way around.
So, like 3 steps, what the individual parent or to-be parents in future can do to help push their school systems in a direction where the better of the 2 outcomes is what we get.
I think one important step is for parents to stay actively involved and engaged with their children's education, communicating regularly with teachers and understanding how technology is being used in the classroom. Another step could be advocating for balanced technology policies at the school or district level, making sure there's a thoughtful approach to how tech is integrated. And finally, just encouraging a healthy balance at home, showing kids that technology is just one of many tools and encouraging other activities and interests as well.
All right. I think that's a good start. I mean, we basically just did kindergartens and I had thought we would do primary school. So I think tomorrow we'll move forward with this. It'll be longer and a bit convoluted and sporadic because that's how my brain works. But we'll do like grade 1 and grade 2, that kind of thing. And we'll start hitting each of the grades and thinking is like key points of what is beneficial, as well as bringing up, you know, what it is, what are the fears, worries, hopes, and dreams when it comes to the integration of the digital utopia to analog systems.
That sounds like a really fun and insightful plan. I'm definitely looking forward to diving into each grade and exploring all the possibilities and considerations. I think it will be a great conversation, and I'm excited to see where it leads us.
All right. With that, I'm going to say adios, muchachos.
Adios, and I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation next time. Have a great one.